Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you my 2013 NFL mock draft video. This is the January edition, and this one's a 2-rounder. So let's just get things kicked off by taking a look at the mock draft rules. Geno Smith is the clear-cut #1 quarterback in this draft class, and you add a solid quarterback on a playoff-ready team like the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think he can take them to where they want to go. Left tackles do not win you Super Bowls. You need outstanding play from the quarterback position, and Geno Smith is the most outstanding in this class. I think Star Lotulelei helps out that Jaguars defense. They have to find a way to get pressure from within. It frees up those one-on-one opportunities on the outside and makes their defense that much better as a whole. Lotulelei is a guy that can come in day one and instantly make that Jaguars defense that much better. The Raiders have to be able to get to the quarterback in order to be successful as a defense, and Demontre Moore is the best pass rusher, in my opinion, in this draft. He instantly upgrades their defensive line and will also help out that secondary. I think Chip Kelly goes guard and not tackle. He takes the best guard in the draft, Chance Warmack out of Alabama. In that offense, you have to be able to own the interior, and this is the best guard on the board. One of the more complete cornerbacks in this draft is D. Milner from Alabama. This guy can cover, he can tackle, he can play press, he can play off. He also has ball skills. He will instantly upgrade that secondary for Detroit. I like Bjorn Werner a lot. I think this guy has a lot of potential, and he's still learning how to play the game, so his best football is ahead of him. New defensive coordinator Ray Horton has to be smiling from ear to ear to land a talent such as Warner. The team with the playoff ready roster, all they need is a quarterback, which is why Tyler Wilson makes so much sense here. You add a guy that can throw the football all over the football field. With those weapons, you instantly upgrade your offense and you become a terror in the NFC West. I think the Buffalo Bills add another offensive playmaker to that potent attack with C.J. Spiller. You look at Cordero Patterson. This guy's one of the more explosive players in the country. Can do it out of the backfield, can also do it on the returns, and also as a wide receiver has all the skill sets necessary to be successful. That's going to be a dangerous offense out there in Western New York. The Jets need a legit wide receiver that can catch the football, and Keenan Allen reminds me a lot of Brandon Marshall. So you add him to that offense, and whomever they're going to bring in as a quarterback or a complimentary #2, I think it just makes their offense that much better. Keenan Allen makes a lot of sense for the Jets right here. I'm a big fan of Sheldon Richardson out of Missouri, 6'3", 295, the ideal 3-tech in that Titans defense, and they will have to get to the quarterback this year in order to be better defensively, and that's how they're going to have to win. Richardson makes a lot of sense for these guys at this selection. Phillip Rivers may bring the card up to the podium himself if Luke Joeckel is still on the board at this selection. 6'7", 310 pounds, the best tackle prospect in this draft. Makes a lot of sense for the Chargers to find someone. The Miami Dolphins need playmakers for Ryan Tannehill in that offense, and that's where Justin Hunter comes into play. 6'4", 200 pounds, reminds me a lot of A.J. Green in his wiry build and his outstanding skill set. Be able to catch the football at his highest points, very athletic, and also has the speed to take it the distance. The Buccaneers need to start cashing in on some of those plays that were left on the field by that secondary. Look for Jonathan Banks to come in and fit nicely in that defense. 6'1", 185, tremendous ball skills. So look for these guys to generate a lot of turnovers next season. As tempting as it is to add a receiver to this Panthers offense, you have to look at their defense as a big question mark last season. Jesse Williams, defensive tackle out of. And this is my first surprise pick of the first round. David Amerson is a guy that has his hands on the football a lot at North Carolina State. The Saints need that in their secondary, especially going to a 3-4. They're going to try to create a lot of turnovers. You need someone on that back end that can make plays on the ball, and I think Amerson will make a better free safety at the next level. A lot of people are worried about the injury with Jarvis Jones, but if he starts to fall on draft day, the Rams will cradle him, bring him in camp, and have him start from day one. There's a lot to like about Xavier Rhodes, one of the more solid corners in this draft. 6'1", 217, has a safety's build, but has the skills. We know the Cowboys are moving to a 4-3 defense under Monty Kiffin, so they're going to have to get personnel to fit that defense. Jonathan Hankins is a guy that's 6'3", 350 pounds. He can clog up the lanes, and I think that's going to help those linebackers have free reign to the football. The Giants will be ecstatic if they can land Eric Fisher this far down in the draft. I'm out here in the Senior Bowl, and this guy is an outstanding prospect. Dominate the competition all week long. Look for him to probably go higher, but this will be a great fit for that Giants offense. The Chicago Bears have to start getting younger at the linebacker position, and Manti Te'o reminds me a lot of Brian Urlacher in his instinctive play. May not be as athletic, but this guy is definitely a first-round talent and makes a lot of sense for Chicago right here. You talk about a guy that oozes athleticism, that's Deion Jordan. Very versatile guy, could also be an outside linebacker, so the Bengals get a guy that can be versatile in their defense in applying pressure. Jordan is going to be an outstanding pro. The Rams are sitting in the catbird seat in this draft. They come away with one of the best linebackers in Jarvis Jones and one of the best safeties in Kenny Vaccaro out of Texas. This guy has tremendous range, covers sideline to sideline, and also is not afraid to come up and lay the pop on a wide receiver. Let's be honest, the Vikings need weapons at receiver opposite of Percy Harvin. When he comes back healthy, he's better suited for number 2. DeAndre Hopkins can come and fill that Sidney Rice role and help open up that Vikings passing game. If this Colts team is going to continue to improve and do things like they did last season, they're going to have to get better at stopping the run. John Jenkins makes a lot of sense for that 3-4 defense, a stop-gapper, a guy that can help those outside rushers get to the quarterback and help those inside linebackers make plays on the ball. The one thing that the Seahawks lacked last season on offense was explosiveness out of the receiver position. And Tavon Austin, team him up with Russell Wilson, and they will have one of the best quarterback-receiver combinations, one of the more explosive quarterback-receiver combinations in the National Football League. Before the Packers think about doing anything else, they have to improve their offensive line. When you add a guy of the caliber of Jonathan Cooper, you have done that. Now you can address other needs throughout the course of this team. Jonathan Cooper can run block and also pass protect. Can you imagine the amount of chaos that can be caused by a combination of Kevin Minter and Brian Cushing? The Texans have the opportunity to get one of the best inside linebackers in the draft by grabbing the 6'1", 245-pound backer out of LSU. Sharif Floyd was one of the top high school prospects in the country, and he finally put it all together this season for Florida. Had a dominating season, was an immovable object, and showed tremendous pocket push. So I think that's going to help that Broncos defense tremendously. There's a lot to like about Sam Montgomery, defensive end out of LSU. You talk about a guy that has Michael Strahan-like skill set, very solid against the run, but also can put pressure on a quarterback. I think he'll fit perfectly in that Bill Belichick defense. The Falcons finally find themselves a stud at defensive end, and the unique thing about Datone Jones is that he can play the 5 technique, he can play a wide 7, he can play a wide 9. This guy has the skills to do it all, and will instantly upgrade that Falcons defensive front and be able to get pressure on a quarterback. And here's my second surprise of the draft, Tyrann Mathieu, 5'9", 175 out of LSU, going to the Baltimore Ravens, not as a corner, but as a defensive back. Why? Because he can play field corner. People forget he played very well as a true corner his freshman season, and also can play strong safety, also could play free safety. This guy can help you out as a returner. He always has the football in his hands, and he's a defensive player. Give me guys like that on my team, and you can win each and every time out. That's why I think the Baltimore Ravens take the chance on a guy that can help replace Ed Reed. Deshaun Golson may decide to take his services elsewhere in the offseason, which is why I think the 49ers have to go with Eric Reed here at this point in the draft. You look at 6'2", 212, a guy that's not afraid to be closer to the line of scrimmage, but also has ball skills if he can learn to take better angles. That's the one thing he has to improve on. Now let's take a look at the second round. You see some guys that stand out right away. The Bengals taking Monty Ball out of Wisconsin. The guy reminds me a lot of Curtis Martin. You also look at the Cardinals getting lucky with Tyler Eifert out of Notre Dame, 6'6", 250, game-changing type of tight end. And you see him not as high on Barkevious Mingo as most are. I think this guy has a lot to develop. Yes, he may be athletic, but athleticism and not being able to do it yet will get you fired as a coach. But there's a lot of talent still on the table in the second round. You look at Bakari Rambo going to the Redskins. They sorely need safety help. You also look at Kasim Green going to the Vikings, coverage linebacker. Andre Ellington going to the Packers. They need that explosive element in the backfield. And Ryan Otten going to the Falcons. I'm a big fan of Otten out of San Jose State. And let's be honest, the 49ers may look to go receiver early again. Quentin Patton is one of the more underrated receivers in the country.